time, students. Today in this video we will learn a hydatid disease. Uh, who are causal agents? Human echinococcosis or hydatidosis or hydatid disease is caused by the larval stages of Cestodes of the genus Echinococcosus. Echinococcus, genus Echinococcus. Echinococcus granulosis caused cyst echinococcosis and is the form most frequently encountered. Another species is Echinococcus multilocularis causes alveolar echinococcosis and is becoming increasingly more common. Many genotypes of Echinococcosis granulosus have been identified that differ in their distribution, host range, and some morphological features. These are often grouped into separate species in modern literature. Okay, and we go to look at the life cycle of Echinococcus granulosus and Alveococcus or Echinococcus multilocularis. The adult Echinococcus granulosis, it is from 2 to 7 millimeters long, resides in the small intestine, present in the small intestine of the definitive host. Gravid proglottids release eggs and the passage in the feces and are immediately infectious. After ingestion by a suitable intermediate host, eggs hatch in the small intestine and release 6 hooked oncospheres that penetrate the intestinal wall and migrate through the circulatory system into various organs, especially the liver and lungs. There are 75% liver, they are present in 75 cases in a liver and in a lungs. In these organs, the oncosphere develops into a thick-walled hydatid cyst that enlarges gradually, producing protoscoles and dotted cyst, and that fills the cyst interior. The definitive host becomes infected by ingesting the cyst-containing organs of the infected intermediate host. After ingesting the protoscolics, evaginate, attach to the intestinal mucosa and develop into adult stage in 32 to 80 days. Not so longer, but not so fast. Humans are aberrant or incidental hosts and become infected by ingesting eggs of this parasite. Oncospheres are released in the intestine and hydatid cysts develop in a variety of organs. And as I said, more cases in 75% we can find their cysts in lungs and in the liver. If cysts rupture, but we can find this cyst in another organ, for example, in a brain or in eyes or in our bones or in our muscles. But remember that most cases are in lungs and in a liver. Okay. Um, this cyst can create a secondary cysts in other sites within the body, and this called a secondary echinococcosis. Okay, go to the life cycle of Echinococcosis multilocularis, and as you can see, the first stages of Echinococcosis multilocularis development are similar, look like life cycle of Echinococcosis granulosis, especially the three first stages. Okay, when intermediate host ingest eggs, uh, from eggs, uh, uh, releases a six-hooked oncospheres and penetrates the intestinal wall and migrates through the circulatory system into various organs. For example, to the liver, to the lungs, to the bones, to the muscles, doesn't matter. But from this stage, from stage number 3, I circle. Where? Okay, from stage number 3, we can see some differences. The oncosphere develops into a multi-chambered, it is another name of this multi-chambered, multilocular and thin-walled, and the thin-walled hydatid cyst called alveolar. And that proliferates by successive outward budding. Numerous protoscolics develop within this cyst. The definitive host becomes infected by ingesting the cyst-containing organs of the infected intermediate host. This is look like what is the difference between Echinococcus multilocularis and Echinococcus granulosis life cycle. It's no difference. But inside intermediate host, we have differences in location of these cysts and in the structure of these cysts. Humans are aberrant intermediate hosts too, like in life cycle of Echinococcus granulosis. And we infected when we eat eggs, and we get a metastasis or dissemination to other organs, for example, to the brain, to heart, to bone, and this Echinococcus multilocularis, can start secondary Echinococcosis 2. Where we can meet this both worms, or it is part about geographic distribution. Echinococcosis granulosis uh, occurs practically worldwide and more frequently in rural, grazing areas where dogs ingest organs from infected animals. The geographic distribution of individual Echinococcus granulosis genotypes is variable and an area of ongoing research. Okay, Echinococcus multilocularis occurs in the northern hemisphere, including Central and Northern Europe, Central Asia, Northern Russia, Northern Japan, North Central United States, Alaska, Canada. Okay, this is enough. What about clinical presentation? Echinococcus granulosis infection often remains asymptomatic for years, and we must talk about disease. Uh, uh, Asymptomatic for years, as I said, and before the cysts grow larger enough to cause the symptoms in the affected organs. The rate at which symptoms appear typically depend on the location of the cyst. For example, hepatic and pulmonary things or symptoms are the most common clinical manifestation, as these are the most common sites for cysts to develop. In addition to the liver and lungs, the organs, spleen, kidneys, heart, bone, and central nervous system, including the brain and eyes, can also be involved with resulting symptoms. For example, I know one case when one boy got Echinococcus granulosis in his brain, and this boy got schizophrenia. But after when this bubble was deleted from his brain, it he stay healthy. Okay, Echinococcus multilocularis affects the liver as a slow-growing, destructive tumor, often with abdominal pain and biliary obstruction being the only manifestation evident in early infection. Early infection. I will make smaller. This may be misdiagnosis as liver cancer. Rarely metastatic lesions in the lungs, spleen, and brain occur. Untreated infection have a high fatality rate, and this disease has mortality in 50 from 50 to 75%, or 50 to 70%. Very high mortality. Okay, what's the next? Diagnosis. Diagnosis includes some steps. It is a history. The presence of a cyst-like mass in a person with a history of exposure to sheepdogs in an area where Echinococcus granulosis is endemic suggests a diagnosis of cyst echinococcosis. Imaging technicals such as CT scans. CT scans. Okay, no, where I... Okay, that is CT scans. For example, that is echinococcosis of brain, and you can see CT scan result, and there is a picture. This is a photo ABCD. ABCD. This is the photos from the surgery when this cyst are deleting from the brain. And as you can see, there are more than one cysts in a brain. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cysts, or maybe more, 4 or 5 cysts. Okay. After the cyst has been detected, a serologic test may be used to confirm the diagnosis. Alveolar echinococcosis is typically found in older people. Imaging techniques such as CT scans are used to visually confirm the parasitic vesicles and cyst-like structures, and serologic test can confirm the parasitic infection. And how it's look? It's look like previous disease, look like Echinococcus granulosis, but our tissues can include, don't make a normal wall from this cyst, and we must delete this cyst with the large part of the organ. For example, this is the liver. And as you can see, the large part of the liver was deleted. Okay, and what you must know more about disease. Okay, prevention and control. And I was prepared for you a lot of text. Okay, you can stop the video and read that, but what main what you must prefer to prevent this disease? First, you must prevent dogs touch the dogs, or if you have a dog, after touching the dog, after handing a dog, you must always wash your hands. Most important to teach children the importance of washing hands to prevent infection in both cases. It is about Echinococcus granulosis. This doesn't matter what is worm. What worm? Infectious stages are similar. Okay, and there is all students.